Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura. Now, I wanted to talk about something that happened to me this year, and I just recently put out the video of me explaining that I have chronic illness, and so I do have undifferentiated connective tissue disease, which I will abbreviate UCTD. Now, it's kind of interesting because right now we're living in a time that, you know, this COVID experience that people have been going through, and it's not even an experience, it's just terrible virus that has plagued millions of people around the world. I never thought that it was going to hit home for me. And the funny thing is that when COVID hit, it hit before the pandemic started. So this is my story talking about me having COVID. I wound up catching COVID. I would say around December. And it's a miracle that I'm still, sitting here in front of my phone and talking about this, because there's a millions of people that were never able to recover, and it really breaks my heart. But when I caught COVID, I had no idea that I had it. I thought I had like a upper respiratory infection. Unfortunately, since I have UCTD, like all of us knows who have UCTD, our immune system is very weak. So anybody that gets sick around me, I'm very quick on getting sick with them. And unfortunately, that happened to me. I wound up getting sick from a coworker that had COVID. And little did he knew, or only knows now, that he was a carrier. So unfortunately, me out of everybody in the office, because there was like, I would say about 10 people sitting in one room in the office. And unfortunately, when the office setting, there's no windows, there's no circulation for clean air. The office was always maintained clean, meaning we have somebody always cleaning, and I always like to clean my space because I'm very meticulous, especially me having UCTD. I don't want to catch anything from anybody, and yet I still caught COVID. So when I caught it, it started as like a tickle in my throat, and I was constantly coughing and coughing. I was just like something was bothering me, but it felt weird because normally when I get a cold, yeah, you get like this soreness in the glands, and that's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna get sick. But this time it was just like a tickle in my throat. So I was constantly like carrying cough drops, and the cough drops wasn't helping. And next thing you know, I felt from the tickle like it went down to my chest. I felt like a burning sensation down to my chest. I was like, great. And unfortunately, I couldn't even take a day off to get checked out because of the fact that it was the midst of the holiday season. So I was the only employee working in the office, monitoring phones while everybody was taking the holiday. So, it just kind of sucked. So next thing you know, I felt the burning in my chest, and I, I was like, great, I'm going to wind up getting sick. And I, started preparing for my usual, more cough drops, cold medicine, tissues. Gotta hunker down and get through this cold. Unfortunately, this lingered. This started lingering. Because it happened towards the holidays, Christmas, when I started getting sick. And it lingered all the way through January. I started experiencing a lot of like coughing, like continuous coughing, like I had trouble breathing. And I had my nebulizer, because every so often when I'm not asthmatic, but when I get upper respiratory infections, I have something to to clear my chest, and it wasn't even helping me. And I had such a difficult time like sleeping. I could not sleep for the life of me. Like I literally had like a fan blowing in my face so I could breathe, and I couldn't breathe. My children was constantly coming in and checking up on me, and they're like, "Ma, you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm not okay. I don't know what's going on." And I had such a hard time breathing. It was the worst experience, because like I said, I'm not asthmatic. I don't know what it is to have severe asthma, so it felt really bad. And yet I was still working. So I made my appointment with my doctor, and she was checking me out. She couldn't even figure out what was going on with me. And I kept telling her, I was like, I'm having problems breathing. I am having a hard time breathing. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not feeling well. So, she prescribed me more of, a pump. And she said to me, well, it could be because since I have Uctd, she goes, maybe it's your heart. Maybe you're building fluid around your heart. And so what I'm going to do is, if you continue, feeling really bad, I want you to come back in April, and then we're going to have to do further testing to check your heart. Because, at the time, she just wasn't ready for me to get checked out thoroughly for whatever reason. So that was the agreement, that I was supposed to go back in April. And yet, pandemic hit. So unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, I was not going into the hospital knowing what was going on. And all I can say is that I've been very fortunate to be alive, because not only I wound up getting that, like the chest and the not breathing, I was able to still recuperate from that, because then after that I wound up getting the last of the symptoms, which is the bowel issues. I was also getting the fevers, the sweats and the fevers. I did lose the taste and smell. That was terrible. Eating your food and not tasting your food. That was like the worst thing I ever experienced. So all these little symptoms that went with it, I had them. And the only way I was able to get through not having like the proper medication is that I was able to have like if you ever wind up getting COVID, I would suggest you to do is have hot green tea with elderberry syrup. I was drinking that a lot, and that was able to help me clean myself out. And a lot of hot soup. That was what made me get through the COVID. because obviously the medical, again, I'm having issues with medical doctors. They're not up to their game. So she had no idea I had COVID. And how I wind up finding out that I had COVID is that I live in New York City, so they started implementing the antibody tests. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to take the test. I need to know because this is crazy, because I wound up getting sick, and I kept telling to everybody I had COVID, and everybody's like, but how you know? I'm like, I just know. And sure enough, when I took the test, the antibody, and it's a miracle all its own, because my antibodies showed up that I had COVID in the past. But yet I have 3 people that live in my apartment, which is my 2 sons and my ex-boyfriend at the time. They all 3 were around me a lot. And they're not sick. They're not they don't have health issues, thank God. And none of them got COVID but me. That's crazy. So, it's something else. But I'm going to say to anybody that has UCTD, please take very care of yourself and take this COVID situation very serious, because I was very fortunate that I didn't die from it. It doesn't mean that that the possibility of not dying might not happen again, because you know what, I could catch it again and I might not be so lucky. So now I got to take extra precaution of taking care of myself. So if anybody has UCTD or any type of chronic illness, take a lot of care with yourself and follow those guidelines of keeping your social distancing, and like I said, drink the hot liquids to clean yourself out, because that will also help you. And like I say, thank God, if it wasn't for that, I would not be sitting here having a video, putting this video out. But just be careful, please. I'm gonna end this video, but I just wanted to bring this out because I think since COVID is still very much up and ongoing, it's important that people take really serious precautions with COVID and making sure that you stay safe. Alright, so I hope to see you in my next video, and if you like the content, please give it a like, because I would like the video to be circulating and people could get something out of it, even though it's just me talking, but a little something out of it. Alright, so I hope to see everybody soon in my next video, and I'll see you. Bye.